Hello, and welcome once again to Time Between Times Storytelling with me, Owen Staton. Thank you for joining me here for another tale at the Time Between Times. So sit back. Today we have quite a dark tale, but a good tale. A tale to make you think. A different tale. Sit back. Relax. Let your mind clear. Let all your cares, your worries float away on a cloud for just a few moments and join me at the time between times, the time when it is neither night nor day, but the sun has gone and the sky is grey, the time when the veil between our world and the fairy world is wafer thin, so thin that for just a few moments we can reach into their realm. And for a few moments, they can reach into ours. Now is the time that people see ghosts. Now is the time that people see lights in the sky. Now is the time of fairies. Now is the time between times. So let's pretend for just a few moments that we are sat in the fireplace at the heart of the forest. The moon and the sun are both in the sky, vying for position. And the storyteller steps forward with a tale to tell. An old tale from far away that involves a young peasant boy. A lazy young peasant boy who almost changed the fate of his country. Many years ago, in a land far from here, a young peasant had run away from the fields where he was working, staggered through the forest, and sat under an old oak tree looking out on the fields. The sun was shining, although it was on its way down, and far away he could hear children playing, he could hear the church bells ringing, he could hear life carrying on as it always had. He closed his eyes, he stretched back and began to think of what the future may hold. But time passed. He must have fallen asleep, for shortly after he opened his eyes and found that he was at the time between times. He could feel a slight chill. The sounds had changed. The people had gone. Walking up across the field towards him, he could see a tall, long-limbed figure in a dark cloak. He sat up, leaning with his back to the tree, wondering what this figure would bring. The figure seemed to stagger, but then walk upright, then stagger again, until it came almost within touching distance. He sat up, felt a chill run down his spine, as the figure took the cape from her head and revealed a beautiful woman with jet black hair and eyes as dark as the night. "I need you to carry me," she said. "I need you to carry me to every village, every town, every house, wherever we can go. You must carry me, and then you shall be rewarded." "But maybe I don't want to carry you," the boy replied. "You have no choice, for I have chosen you. Now get up and carry me on your back." Her words were sweeter than honey. The boy stood up and turned around. The figure climbed on his back, and although she was tall, she weighed less than a feather. The boy started to walk, and only when he did he realize what this figure was. For this was a spectre. This was something from another world. This was plague. He carried the spectre into a village, and they walked down the high street. Although it was full, and it was teeming and full of happiness and markets and animals and people going about their business, he soon saw them all start to sicken and die. Bodies piled up in the streets as he walked up and down, until before he could know it, there was no room for them in the churchyards. and they started to burn them. Tears ran down the boy's face, but he knew he could do nothing about it. "Onwards," said the spectre on his back. They walked through the mountains till they came to a village, and the same thing happened again. Now tears were streaming down the boy's face. "That is the next path," said the spectre, and with horror the boy turned around and realised that this path led straight to his home. He took a winding way through the valley until he saw his homestead up ahead. With horror, he saw the door to his house open and his child rush out towards him, screaming, "Papa, Papa!" Summoning all his powers, all his mind, everything he had in him, every ounce of courage left in his body, he knew there was only one course of action. He turned around. The spirit called to him and said, "No! Onwards you must go! Onwards you must go!" But he turned and ran straight to the rushing river and dived in with the spirit on its back. Under the water he went, tossed around, up and down, down and around. At last his head bobbed up once more. He could see the spirit choking with him, and under he went and floated to his death. The spirit staggered out on the bank on the other side and saw the young peasant's body washed up. The child ran across and stood on the other side of the river, not seeing the spirit, but seeing a father dead. It was only then that Plague was touched by courage. Plague was touched by the deeds of the man. Even the black heart of Plague itself was moved by what this man had done, the sacrifice he had made. And Plague walked off into the mountains, to be heard of no more. The peasant's courage ran throughout the land. People celebrated him. And Plague was not known in those lands ever again. And that, my friends, is the dark, sad tale of the Plague and the Peasant. Thank you for joining me here at the Time Between Times again. Thank you for taking just a short period to sit with me and hear a tale traditionally told. I have a podcast, Time Between Times podcast. Please take a listen. I am on Twitter at Owen S. Griffiths, and I also have a Ko-fi page if you are kind enough to buy me a coffee. Coffee.com/Owen Staton. But until next time, when I will meet you again at the Time Between Times, the time when it is neither night nor day, but the sun has gone and the sky is grey. Take care, my friends, for when you tell a tale, magic happens. Tell a tale, my friends. You never know who might be stirred into storytelling themselves. For when these tales are told, they no longer lie dormant in dusty old books, but come alive. No star, my friends. Take care. Good night.